Hello and welcome. A lot of people ask us how difficult it is to actually get into Ukraine to report the story, and I can tell you access to Ukraine is extremely difficult. It's been impossible for millions of people to actually leave their country and move away to areas like this Poland where I am right now, but the process of actually crossing over is extremely difficult. I'm actually at the main bus terminal over here in Warsaw, Poland, and after a period of several weeks, we are in a position to actually get onto a bus and cross over from Warsaw to Kiev. Now you may be asking, are bus services or train services really running in the opposite direction from Poland to Ukraine? Very limited services and very occasionally. In fact, as we wait for our bus to actually arrive, we don't know if it's actually going to go all the way, it's going to be halted somewhere. It's a risk that we're going to have to take, and the journey itself is going to be more than 15 hours. It's supposed to be about 8:30 this evening when the bus departs this terminal, and about 11:50, 12 tomorrow afternoon when it actually reaches. On the way, there are going to be lots of checkposts where our accreditation is going to be checked. So we are accredited now with the Ukrainian military. That's a process by itself. And then you'd be wondering, what about the visa process? Well, the Ukrainian embassy isn't at the moment handing out any visas or granting any visas to journalists, or for that matter anybody else. In India, to get a visa to cover the war in Ukraine, you need to actually travel to countries like Poland, where there's also a process that you need to go through, where they check for that military accreditation before they actually say, all right, fine, we'll go ahead and grant you that visa. But the process itself is confusing, it's not easy, and they don't allow you to actually be in the country for extended periods of time. So you have to actually report as effectively as you can for a relatively short period of time. Now, there are lots of buses, as you can see, which are actually moving to various places. This particular bus is a local bus, so it's not something which is actually operating to where we are going. But bus services are resuming. That means people are traveling back to areas like Kiev. It is a very small sign of normalcy, but we urge everybody watching this to understand that the situation in Ukraine far from normal, and it's widely believed that this is the lull before the storm, and that what we are likely to see in eastern Ukraine over the next couple of days and weeks is a real hardening of military positions by both the Ukraine and Russia, and perhaps conventional warfare over there. So that's the situation as we get set to get onto this bus. Just getting onto the bus itself has taken us so many weeks. Visas, accreditation, travel over here, not really knowing how to get that Ukrainian visa. So let's hope it all comes together, and I'll bring you more from this travelogue as we get on the bus. It's a 15-hour journey between Warsaw and Kyiv. We are on our way now to the Ukrainian capital on a day when news has been coming in that farther south, the city of Mariupol, Ukrainian soldiers are waging what may be their final battle. There are also very worrying reports coming in also from the Mariupol region of chemical weapons allegedly being used by Russian forces. We'll be reporting the very latest developments on a special episode of Left, Right and Center right here on NDTV 24/7. Well, as we travel to Kiev, we have to be prepared with our military accreditation. There are lots of checkposts over here. This is what we need to work as journalists over here in Ukraine. Without this, you can't get anywhere. Certainly not cover any aspect of the military operations. It's now taken us, 16 hours, 30 minutes? Almost 16 hours, 30 minutes for the journey between Warsaw and Kyiv. It's certainly the longest bus journey which I have had. Uma, have you had a longer bus journey than this?
No.
No? 16 and a half hours. And it's not been that easy because, in the middle we had to change buses in the middle of the night at about 2 a.m. and there were lots of roadblocks. They didn't stop or anything, but there were frequent checkposts. And what we really saw is, as we approached Kiev on the Irpin area, we saw a great deal of destruction. Lots of tanks. और क्या देखा बिल्डिंग्स भी थे वहाँ।
लेकिन जो सबसे यूनिक पार्ट था वो ये था कि जब हम पोलैंड से यूक्रेन की सीमा में घुस रहे थे और पासपोर्ट जिस तरह से हमारा बस में ही चेक किया गया, हमें बस से उतारा नहीं गया और पासपोर्ट दोनों ही इलाकों में
दो बार पोलैंड साइड पे और फिर यूक्रेन
साइड पे स्टैम्प किया गया, फिर यूक्रेन साइड में स्टैम्प किया गया। तो वो इस मामले में यूनिक था कि हमारा जो अनुभव है वो इंडिया पाकिस्तान बॉर्डर का है, तो वहाँ पे उतार के बहुत फिस्किंग होती है, चेकिंग होती है और उसके बाद जाने दिया जाता है। लेकिन दोनों फ्रेंडली कंट्री हैं, ये अलग बात है कि यहाँ पे युद्ध जो है वो चल रहा है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद जिस तरह से वहाँ पे स्मूथ ट्रांजिशन हुआ है वो अपने आप में बड़ी बात है।
Well, let's hope we can actually cover this effectively to tell our viewers what is essentially a lull in a storm at the moment. The war is not over by any means. The Russians may have moved away from this area, but certainly in eastern parts of the country, it's very active. With camera person Ashok Mahale and my colleague Uma Shankar Singh, Vishnu Shows for NDTV.